this bit of text. Because one of the greatest gifts that we have as children of God, a matter of fact, let me be frank, as people in general, is the ability to come together. And not just to gather together in one place, but to gather together in one mind and to accomplish an efficient task with the same mentality. So let me go back to verse 6. Now, this was under Nimrod's dynasty. He was one of the first kings. I guess he established himself king. He felt good enough about himself and he said, listen, I feel like leading, you feel like following. And it looked to me like they were well up to the task of following Nimrod. Nimrod came up with this airbrained idea. Let us build a monument that's going to stretch up into the heavens. I've got a problem with that. Nimrod was looking to go into heaven without invitation. And it might bother some people to think that's madness, because we've got all these towers that are built in our country today and all around the world, and they don't stretch into heaven. What I want to put across to you is that the Bible is not erroneous in any way. And if something looks like it's off, you may need to think from another side. See, I wasn't around back then, but I do understand that every time we have an issue with God, or God has an issue with us, he has to make a shift. Right. We know in the garden that when God made Adam and Eve, that in the evening he would come and commune with him. His presence was always there. But what happened, they got tricked into eating something they weren't supposed to eat. People call it an apple. I didn't see that in the Bible. It's something they weren't supposed to eat. I stay there. But when this took place, there immediately became a separation that God had to ask Adam, where are you? And he knew immediately something had gone awry. Something you did you weren't supposed to do has caused a separation. And I will add to this that every time we continue in this wise, there is a greater separation between us and God. We see about the time of Noah, how when the flood came and the people were dying and they started to decompose, the Bible said that God smelled the stench. I don't know, but if I get up in a hot air balloon and people are burning, I don't know if I smell it. So what I've come to understand is that heaven was a whole lot closer than where it is today. And so when they built the tower, it was quite possible that it could have stretched into heaven. But my Bible tells me this. Jesus says it this way. He says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but by me. So since Jesus didn't give them an invitation, they had no right to go into heaven. Hallelujah. But God looked at the situation and he said, listen, they've got the preliminary done. The prerequisite has been met. Ask me, what is the prerequisite? The prerequisite is that the people is one. Notice the text didn't even say the people are one. You know, in English we'd say the people are one. But that gives us a multiplicity of people. But they were in such a oneness that the Bible looks at them as a singular unit. And he says the people is one. They have one mind, one thought, one language, and one speech. It's kind of funny, the Bible actually says language and speech. It gives it separate. In verse 1 it It includes how you curl up your lips when you say certain things. And to someone who doesn't know better, they might think you mean one thing, but you mean something else. But if you understand the nuances of body language, you know what I'm talking about. So if we're building something and somebody is on the 10th floor and another person is on the 8th floor, they can use body language to communicate. So these people, even though they had this crazy king who had no permission from God to visit God in heaven, he was getting them, they were already on one accord and they were willing to go. Let me go into a place concerning King Nimrod. We don't know a whole lot about him, but we know about his descent, who he came from. He is one of the grandsons of Ham. And let me let you in on who Ham is before we get a little bit further, because I'm going somewhere. I just didn't get there yet. I like to lay a nice foundation so I can build a monument when we're done. And so here is Nimrod. He's Ham's grandson, great-grandson, and Ham is one of the sons of Noah. The one son that entered his father's house the wrong way. Exposed his father's nakedness. Now I don't know about you, but when I grew up, I could not enter my parents' bedroom without knocking. You could enter any place. If the door was closed, you had to knock. I find it strange. I'm teaching that in school. You know, I'm teaching. I have kids from ages